My name is Advukela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So something else that I want us to talk about that is very, very important because excuse me, guys. There is a moment in this case that is quite astonishing, okay? That most people don't really take into account for what exactly it means. Or let me say, they don't really pay much attention to it, what exactly it means, or it looks like it's something small, but it's not. Maybe it's too technical, they don't really care, I don't know. The firearm, the one the state wants to link to the murder of Senzo Meyiwa, leaves SEP's custody. Ugeninda comes and takes it out. Geninda comes and takes it out. And it doesn't just move locations, it changes legal identity because it stops being protected by a system, SEPS, and starts being protected by a person. And that person is Bongani Geninda. And that is where the chain of custody crisis begins. All these problems that we have, we thought they were big, but this one is the biggest. The system that was supposed to protect the gun now is being told to, you are not good enough. Let's slow it down, okay? Because this is where law meets reality. Inside SEPS, there are two key systems, SEP 13, the General Exhibit Register, SEP 18, the Forensic or Ballistic Tracking System. Together, they form what the court treats as a controlled environment of truth, all right? Meaning every movement is logged, every handler is recorded, every second is traceable. In legal terms, that is called integrity of custody, all right? Because the court is not just asking, do you have the gun? It is asking, can you prove this is the same gun every second from the crime scene to this courtroom? And SEP 13 is supposed to answer that question until the gun leaves it. Now, there was a moment that shifted everything, okay? Now watch this carefully because, my goodness, hey, the firearm is booked out and it is taken by the investigating office, the lead investigating officer, Bongani Geninda. But not just for testing. It was done with all of that. It was done with testing and ballistic and everything. It was done doing all of that. Mangena was returning it so that it can stay in the system. Ugeninda was like, andiko happy ngalonto leyo. Later la, let me keep it. Let me keep it. And at this point, we need to test the firearm. Has it ever shot anything after? It needs to be tested against the system. Now, it is taken under safeguarding for his own safety. Ugeninda. That phrase, under his own safety, under his safeguard, that phrase changes everything, guys. Is that what he does to all the cases that he works on? Or was this an exceptional circumstance? Because now the court must ask what threat existed for him to actually say, Sapani leyo firearm. Who authorized this for Geninda to do this? Who did that? Where was the firearm stored? When he said, I'm going to keep it for safekeeping, where did he store it? Who had access to it? You must also remember there was a time this firearm was looked for inside the courtroom and Jiggy Jiggy, it's here. Sorry. And Jiggy Jiggy, it's here. We are like, Haibo. Ivelapi. Because this is no longer standard procedure, right? It's his discretion. And in law, discretion introduces risk. Now the system had to step back and the person stepped in. This is the legal turning point when it comes to this. The moment Gininda takes that firearm, the chain of custody changes form. It moves from a system-based chain to a person-based chain. And that is dangerous. It's a very dangerous shift. Because now one man must explain where the firearm was, how it was stored, who touched it, whether it remained sealed, whether it remained unchanged, and the court will demand continuous accountability. I know it's Chetrata's courtroom, but of course, that is how it's supposed to be. Not most of the time, not generally safe, but every second accounted for. Ugininda needs to account for the firearm. Because here's the legal truth. The chain is only as strong as its weakest moment. And this is a pressure point. Now, the defense doesn't need to prove tampering when it comes to this. That's the trap most people fall into, right? They only need to show a reasonable possibility of tampering. And suddenly, the moment becomes exclusive because they can argue the firearm left a controlled system. It entered personal custody. It was justified on unclear grounds. Its storage is not fully system verified. And from there, 3 attacks emerged. Substitution. This may not be the same firearm. Secondly, contamination. The condition of the firearm may have changed. Thirdly, integrity collapse. The chain is incomplete, therefore unreliable. Now, those are problems that the state is going to face. Now, the state will respond on this, the ballistics match, the expert confirmed it, the firearm is the same. And scientifically, that may be true. But legally, there is a problem. Science can analyze what it is given, but it cannot prove how it got there. That it can't, and that is not a small gap. That is the entire case. Because the court is not asking, what does the lab say? It is asking, can we trust that the lab was given? And that answer lives in the chain of custody. Now we arrive at the real question. Not, is this the murder weapon, but can the state prove beyond reasonable doubt, without a gap, without a single gap, that this firearm remained the same firearm from SEP 13 to Gininda's hands to this courtroom? Because the moment it left the system, it entered a space where proof must be perfect. And if it is not, even slightly, then this is no longer a clean exhibit. It becomes something far more dangerous, a firearm with a story that cannot be fully verified. And in a murder trial, that is not just weakness, it's reasonable doubt. How can Ugininda want to keep a firearm at his own discretion? Who is he for doing that? Why must he have that firearm? Because the firearm is supposed to go to custody to SEP 13, then from SEP 13 to SEP 18, from SEP 18 to SEP 13. Why is he interfering with that? Why is he interfering with that? And the other issue that we have is that the same firearm is going through the most, has been with Gininda from 2020 until now. Is that even legal? Is that even allowed? Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.